right. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Creative Cosplay Corner. I am Cable Rose, your host and uber fan of all things cosplay. Today, once again, we have quite a treat. We're going to go international and we're going to go to some islands and enjoy some of the more the warmer weather. And I'm in Florida, so I'm burning up in Florida. But we're going to go down to the Bahamas, and I would like to introduce SJSLAYSCOSPLAY. So SJ is coming to us from the island of Bahama, or the lands of Bahama. Please, SJ, school me on that. But SJ, come on the show, introduce yourself, and just tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm SJ. I'm from the Bahamas, and I'm actually from Nassau, New Providence, which is the capital.
Okay.
But there are about 700 islands and keys in the Bahamas.
Well, so SJ, do me a favor, because again, time zones and international, we're kind of going across the pond. One, I want to thank you for being here and your time for being a part of this. But
No
two,
problem.
we want to introduce you. How did you get into cosplay?
Well, I've even before I knew there was a term for it.
Okay.
Like when I'm a millennial, so growing up, as soon as we got the internet, and I saw that people were doing cosplay just by watching, going online, seeing other people, getting into anime and comics and all of that as I was just like, that's so cool. I want to do that. But unfortunately, where I live, we don't really have any cons. There is a significant geek culture here, but it's kind of low key. Like it only really just started to take off when the Marvel movies got very popular.
Okay.
And so now it's cool to be a geek, but before then it was just like, you either get made fun of it or, you know, just life. But yeah, I decided, I think I made the conscious decision in 2016, and then I just worked my butt off to be able to afford any cosplays that I wanted, and here we are.
Well, so I like that because you said you always had an interest in it. It was always something that you liked, but you're right. And that's a lot of the terms I'm getting from my guests is maybe it wasn't the most popular thing to do at one point, and then it just shifted. And I think that's amazing. Yeah. I went to Joann's the other day, one of our fabric chains, and they have a cosplay section, right? They've got a cosplay pattern book, and they have some of the warbler or some of the foam to do your stuff. And I mean, it was, or EVA. They had the EVA foam. They had all that stuff. And I thought 10 years ago, you wouldn't have found that inside of a Joann's.
I know, right? Yaya Han, who is a very popular cosplayer, she's amazing. She has her own foam line, and I'm like, yes, queen. Like, go
yes. I mean, how amazing is that, right?
I swear, like living the dream. My friend Mutant Blue just recently got put on a cover page for a series of comics by Sovereign Comics, which I was like, again, living the dream. Like, I love it. I love seeing cosplayers getting more recognition. It's great.
And I love that exact last statement there, right? I want to have more cosplayers get recognition. And that's really what this is. I want to showcase what it is that you all as cosplayers do, because you did say, got to get some money up to get some cosplays. But at the same time, there's a lot of time and effort and love and blood, sweat, and tears that go into these cosplays. And it doesn't matter. And I've said it before, it doesn't matter if you're walking into a con with a $5 cosplay, or if you had time to put together a longer, more put into. Either one of those are both accepted when we walk into those cons. And I really like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I love about this community. I mean, there are always, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, say anything.
There are always assholes in every community, but for the most part, I find that the cosplay community is very accepting and supportive. Like you said, it really doesn't matter if it's a closet cosplay. It doesn't matter if you spent $5 on it. It doesn't matter if you bought your costume, if you spent hours making your costume, although like I have a special respect for people who can make their costumes. I only just started learning how to do that, but like it doesn't matter. Like we will accept you. We just want to know that you love the character and that you're having fun with the character. Like, so long as that's happening, who cares what anybody else thinks?
And I love that, right? About that positive energy, that positive vibe. And it should just be about having fun. Who cares what they think? Just go do you, right? Go do what you
Exactly.
do. So I told you I grabbed a couple pictures, and so you can mentally prepare for some of these. Um,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your black cat and why black cat, excuse me, back that up.
Catwoman. Yeah.
Catwoman. Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Yes, I want to talk about your Catwoman. I'm a DC fan. I'm a
Me
Batman
too.
fan, and
Me
Catwoman
too.
is my jam. So one, I'm looking forward to. Oh, who's playing the new Catwoman? I can see her
Zoe
face.
Kravitz.
Zoe, yeah, I'm waiting for Zoe for that
Oh,
iteration. I grew up on Halle Berry. I grew up on Michelle Pfeiffer. I grew up on the comics. That's my jam. So how did she or that character become one of the ones you chose?
Catwoman's always been my favorite character.
Oh, okay.
Since I was a very little girl. I actually used to live on an island, a different island called Exuma. And I remember we would get like the Adam West rerun. And
Yes.
I saw everyone from Eartha Kitt to Julie Newmar and all of them
Yes.
playing this character. And I just thought she was so glamorous and so, it was so awesome at that age to see like a female character doing those kind of things. Like she was able to just be her own person. And even though she had a thing with Batman, it was like she was allowed to just get away with things. I was just like, yes, it's great. And then as the Batman the Animated Series came out, which is one of my all-time favorite like animated shows ever, I love what they did with her character and just making her a badass but still compassionate. Like I feel like they gave her so many layers, and that is the iteration of her that I really love more than anything.
Okay.
I do appreciate others, like Michelle Pfeiffer is definitely a big one. I did like Anne Hathaway and Chris Nolan's version of her.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know. She's just always been my favorite.
Okay.
So I
Well,
knew if I was gonna cosplay anybody, it was gonna be her.
well, that's really funny because I've gone through your page, and yes, there are some Catwoman on there, but there's a lot of other characters on there. So the fact that I grabbed that as my first one, I really didn't know that was your favorite. So that's actually a perfect one to set us up. But let's talk about, you said it, you're millennial. I'm a
Yes,
Gen X, so I was born in 77. We got a couple years between us, right? So,
X's are cool. I
yep.
don't mind Gen X's. Gen
So we're
X's for
Xers, we're good, right?
yeah.
But there was one game that I grew up with that I want to talk about your next cosplay. So when we get into Metroid, and what's really cool about this character is it was the 8-bit jam for Nintendo, other than Mario and other than, a couple. But this was the one, and everybody had to play Metroid. And it wasn't until years later when they threw a curveball at all the fanboys to realize it was who. So who is that Metroid character we're talking about?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I sorry, you're hearing my dog in the background.
That's okay.
Yeah, I never actually played the Metroid games. Don't cancel me.
Okay.
I never got a chance to. I got into the character through Smash Brothers because there's a very huge Smash Brothers community down here. All
Yes.
of my male friends like love the game and have made me play it and kicked my ass at it. you know. But she's always the one that I picked, and it wasn't until I really started to research for the character that I learned about Metroid, and I was like, oh, she's fascinating. Like even beyond just the Zero suit look, and like I still like to pick her full body or full armored look, but like I didn't know much about it until I started researching. And I was like, oh, I gotta play this Metroid game.
Yes. So I like how you said it because it was exactly that. We were talking about kick-ass characters. And so unfortunately in a male dominated, society, everybody was like, yo, Metroid's the badass. And then when they unmasked her and it was a chick, everybody was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then all the other dudes flipped out because they couldn't believe it was a female. And then it was like, wait a minute, why does it matter? It was a badass character and she's kicking ass. I thought it was awesome. And I thought it was a great character development and they weren't expecting. And I thought, yeah, man, she turned out really, really badass. So it's a great one to cosplay as well. And you've got a lot of strong female characters. So I believe both of these are from Street Fighter. So there's Blade. Is she from Street Fighter?
Sonya Blade is from Mortal Kombat.
Ah, so they're both
Yeah,
fighting games. Okay.
both fighting games. Cammy's from Street Fighter. Sonya's from Mortal Kombat.
So you've got the both, right? And
Yeah.
I grew up with that iconic, the braided with the beret with and I don't know what the epaulets are. What are the
Apparently they're called gauntlets. Yeah.
gauntlets? Yeah. So you've got between Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, you've got both two very strong characters to cosplay there as well. But of course, and I'm a big fan of this series, but you've got a great Lara Croft. Tell me about your Lara Croft. You. Yes.
What's funny about all of those characters is I have such a unique relationship with each of them because growing up on the PlayStation console and like arcades and stuff, I used to watch my sister play Tomb Raider all the time on the PS. I think it was the original PlayStation, and I never used to play it. I don't know why. I think I was just more of an introverted, like I prefer to observe it.
Okay.
And also I was more interested in I was only interested in playing if it was like a fighting game. So like I used to watch my sister like shoot dogs, unfortunately, as it was in the old game, and like push the butler into the freezer in the old house. Like it was just like I have so many good memories of watching my sister play that game. With Sonya, I used to always play her in the arcades, and my best friend growing up had Street Fighter, so we used to always play on the weekends. Like she would be Chun-Li and I would be Cammy, and we'd try to duke it out.
Yep.
But yeah, I wasn't sure I was ever gonna do a Tomb Raider, but the photographer who did that shoot, Gary L. Francis, who he actually challenged me to do it. He was like,
okay.
I want you to do this. And I was like, okay, sure. But thank you. I'm glad you like that one in particular.
Those are fun ones, right? And we talked a lot about in my evolution of this show and where I've gotten to, you know, a lot of people don't think that the heroine was always something that was prevalent. They think, you know, Rey, or they think modern day, some of these Frozen. I'm a big Frozen fan because there are no male, like, save me characters. Frozen, she's kicking ass, she's fighting, she's doing her own thing, and that's what that is. But I grew up with Ripley from Aliens.
I was just gonna say Ripley is like the ultimate OG like badass, and she's incredible for. But I mean, you gotta give it to James Cameron for that. Like he does really well with. I feel like at least trying to build strong female characters.
Sure, look at Linda Hamilton in the Terminator series. Yeah. That was another one. Yeah, somebody came back, but that dude didn't last, and she's come with me if you want to live. You know, that last one. I don't know what you saw of all 6 of them, but the last one, woo, she was blowing fools up. Yeah. Yeah. So I like your choice so far in your evolution of who you've chosen and why. I also like you said you've got a deep connection with why you chose them. But let's talk about a couple of maybe newer, more modern characters. Tell me about your, and I'm going to get the name wrong, but tell me about your My Hero Academia. And that's not Todoroki, is it?
It is Todoroki.
I got it right.
Yeah. Oh, what's funny is, again, we don't have cons here, but over the last year, a friend of mine, luckily, like it's so weird, this island is so small, like she wanted to start doing mini cons essentially every month, and she asked me to be the guest cosplayer of it because she knew I wanted to build a cosplay community here. So it just kind of worked out that way, and I'm very thankful that we both met each other at the right time, became friends, are both anime fans. Like it just all worked out perfectly, and it's going well. We have new guests every month, and more people are getting into cosplay all the time. The reason I bring that up is because our first joint venture was a My Hero Academia. It was the first movie that came out. I think it was Two Heroes.
Okay.
And it was last minute, and I really wanted to do Bakugo, but I also really love Todoroki. So I was like, okay, I can get the wig and I can get a local tailor to do like the uniform, and I can do it. So that was a very last minute thing, which I hope to improve one day, because yeah, I'd like to get like his full hero look.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very cool character, and I relate to him on a lot of especially like his history, his like relationship with his father. Like I can kind of relate to some of that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
So my
and
daughter's,
I like to pick characters like that. I like to pick characters that I feel like I can relate to, or that inspire me to do something. Like that's just me. Any cosplayer can pick whatever characters they want, but I feel like it's more rewarding when it's a character that you have some kind of connection to.
so what's it like? And I think I saw some stateside pictures where you were at a con.
Hmm.
Um,
That was
and
my first con.
and okay, so let's
The
talk
first
about
con
not
I've ever been
necessarily
to.
the one con, but let's just talk about a con. What's it like to just walk through a con and character?
You know, it's so weird. Like I'm a particularly nervous person, and I
Okay.
have like I'm pretty open about the fact that I have anxiety and social anxieties particularly, but I never felt that once at a con. And that Rhode Island Comic Con was the only one I've ever been to.
Okay.
I'd never been to a con before that, and I haven't been able to go since COVID. So there's that. But it felt so amazing. Everyone was so nice and supportive and gave me great advice, and we're just there to have fun. It's nice to see other people really care about, you know, the silly things that I care about,
Yep.
which you can call them silly or you can call them not, I guess. But it's just, it felt nice. It felt like, you know, you get to really be yourself, even though you're in character, you know?
I love it. I've only been to a few cons myself. My son and I went as Gentlemen of the Force. So Gentlemen of the Force is a page on Instagram where they wear like suits or really sharp dressed, but they wear a bucket. So my
That's
son and
exactly
I
what
had matching buckets, and we bought matching suits, and we went to the con and we
it was
walked
like.
through.
So it's like Dapper Mandalorian.
Yes. Do you know Dapper Fett?
No, but
There's
I
a
should look it up. There's a Dapper Fett.
Dapper Fett, go look him up. He
That's
does a little
adorable.
steampunk. He does a little dapper. He does a little bit of both. He's got the tilted top hat on top of his bucket. I mean, it's fantastic. And you're right. You can walk through a con, and they realized it was a father-son combo, and they wanted to come and meet us and take pictures with us. And it was just that it didn't matter what you did. And so I really, like you, I really miss my cons. I'm excited for the future of when we get to open back up and go. I love the idea that you guys are doing something there locally where you're getting that community together. I'm here indefinitely in Florida, and I'm trying to do the exact same thing. Florida is
Yeah.
not the safest place right now because of the numbers and everything, but I'm trying to reach out to communities and talk about and generate that excitement again, because right now there is nothing, right? It's all shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to generate
I
that.
mean, I saw some people doing like virtual Comic Cons, which is
Yeah.
nice. It's not the same, but it's nice.
Sure.
So yeah, whenever we're able to operate again, and it'd be nice to know that there's an option too for us, because Florida's so close by. The Bahamians love to go there. Like it would be nice if we could just go to a con, you know, that's like
Yep.
right there. I hope that one day that it's called the Geek Out, the one that we're trying, so that we put on every month.
Yeah.
We are hoping that it will one day become a bigger thing that we can invite international guests to. But until then, we're happy to have our little mini con.
Hey, I dig mini cons. Mini cons, like you said, virtual. They're trying to get creative. I get all of that. Anything to just keep that excitement and those communities connected. I think it's a great thing, right? So, SJ, for you, I've seen, and the audience has seen your passion for what you do. They've seen how you've put your characters together. They understand that you've got a personal connection to those characters. I don't want to tease anything because I know 2020 is kind of done, and what's coming up in the future. I'm sure you're like most cosplayers. I have a list of cosplays that I'm getting ready to start and do. But this is about you. This is prior to the show, we chatted. You had said, you know, I'm always looking to connect and find more people to connect with. And that's what I want to do with these interviews, is share you to the world. So this is your forum. This is your opportunity. Is there anything you want to say? Anything. It can be about cosplay, about life, about the world that we live in, whatever you want to say. Is there anything you want to tell the audience about cosplay and you and what we're talking about today?
I'm so bad at that. Like just thinking off the top of my head.
That's okay.
I would just say, you know, it's a very fun hobby if you want to get into it. It's a very supportive community, and you know, it's a lot of people ask me like, well, how do you get into it, and like, what characters should I do, and all of that. First of all, if anyone ever wants to just DM me and be like, hey, look at my face, who do you think I should cosplay as? I'm happy to do that because I love helping people, A, and B, like I just like analyzing people and being like, I think you should be this character.
Okay.
But you know, I always tell people like it's easy to get into. You don't have to be. It can get expensive, but you don't have to start off that way. You can do closet cosplays for like cartoon, like the more Western cartoon characters.
Sure.
If you wanted to start out just doing some simple things, you can do closet cosplays of anime characters if you want to, like just make them super simple. Or do modern versions of them.
Yep.
It's really about like, you know, what you can afford and what you want to do with it. It doesn't have to be expensive if you don't want it to be, but so long as you're having fun and you are enjoying the characters that you portray, that's all what it's really all about. And don't let anybody be an asshole to you.
I love it. I think our tagline for this one is "Don't be an asshole." I love the fact. No, you said it right. Come in, have a good time, do the characters you want, do it how you want to do it, whether it's closet, whether it's put together. There's one of yours. I'll sneak it in here because I forgot about it, and I thought it was April O'Neil, and I always apologize because I don't know this character from Pokemon, but it's suspenders and a yellow shirt and just a pair of shorts, right?
Funny enough, I'm hoping to do April O'Neil in the near to far future, depending on what COVID does.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to do like the whole retro jumpsuit one. Yeah, Misty.
So, I mean, think about how easy that was. And I don't know, you probably had jean shorts,
Yeah.
you probably had a yellow shirt, and you probably had a pair of suspenders, or you went and got them.
Yeah, like what happened was I knew off the bat. I think it was 2018 in December. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this, and I'm gonna do shoots. And I already had like my photographer who I wanted to do my shoots lined up and everything. I was like, I'm gonna do 3 characters.
Yep.
Misty's gonna be the easiest because I had the shorts. All I had to do was go find a yellow shirt, and then I bought red suspenders from Amazon, I think.
Yep.
And my hair was already that color, so it was like, this is perfect. Yeah, like I said, you can do, and a couple of people were like, yeah, but you don't have the tennis. I'm like, who cares? Again, like I feel like you get more those kind of criticisms from people outside of the community than you do from people who are actually in the community. No, like cosplayers, we just like to see the effort you put into it. If you don't have to be 100% accurate.
Yep.
But yeah, it was pretty easy. I think I'm most proud of the Chitara one that I did though, because that was the first time I ever made a costume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
That took like most of January to do. 4 weeks, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
And which one is Chichara? So is that I don't know that one.
Chitara is from Thundercats.
Oh yes, I see it.
So you'll see the Thundercat logo, yeah.
Yep, I see it. It's got orange, it's got gold, it's got the boots. You've got one here, you're up against this like a tree, and you've got this like bow staff or whatever behind you. Yep. So you got Pokemon, you've got DC, you've got anime, you've got Thundercats Retro, and you said it, SJ, you said it perfect. Go have fun. Go be you. Doesn't matter if it's a closet or the full on, if you put that effort in. And you also made a really good observation. We inside the community typically don't. Now, I know there are some assholes that are inside the community, but typically most of us, we're like, hey, that's awesome. great adaptation, great version, great, you know, costs that you've got going on there. And I love to see that when we do those. And I've got a lot of oddball ones. I'm literally out now outside my box looking for random cosplays that when I show up, I want that one group or that one person to go, is that? And they go, yes, and they love it, right?
Yeah, I was at RI. There was what is it? Fred and Wilma
Yeah,
from
yeah. Flintstones.
from the Flintstones, and then we had a xenomorph and a predator, and it was like, this is perfect. And
Yes.
like I'm such because I'm like an older millennial, like I have such a wide range of fandoms that I'm in. I'm a multi-fandom person. Like I
Yep.
love G.I. Joe, I love Thundercats, I love like all the old school Western cartoons, but I also have a deep appreciation for anime and as well as comics. Yeah, all of it's my jam. I will happily cosplay whatever character suits my fancy. It doesn't have to be anime, it doesn't have to be comics, doesn't have to be whatever.
Yep. And I love that about the creativeness that people come up with for what they decide they want to cosplay. 3D printing, warbler foam, hand stitching, costumes online, Goodwill, thrift stores, closet cosplays, anything goes. And I think it's a great world that we live in. I'm excited for 2021. I know obviously 2020 is a scrub, but 2021, I'm ready for what is next. And yes, fingers crossed, right, SJ? Fingers crossed. But I'd like to thank you for being here. I love to talk to my audience. I love to talk to my guests and see what it is, what they do, and why they do it. I think you've got a great origin story. I love everybody's origin story as we get on here. And I look forward to sharing you to the cosplay world. As like you said, sometimes it's a little harder from the island to get out there and get that connection. So I look forward to sharing you out there.
I'm surprised at the feedback that I've gotten. I'm especially surprised that I have actually a pretty large Bahamian fan base. I was expecting almost to get lambasted because, as I said, like it wasn't really a popular thing down here, but people are really into it, and I've actually been very happy to like. I was at the straw market at one point, and a lady saw me, and she's like, didn't look like she would have any interest in cosplay or anything, but she just looked at me and she's like, "You look amazing," and I was like, "Thank you."
I love it.
Like I just like that, you know, even the people who don't seem like they would be interested still kind of have an appreciation for these things, because media is such a huge part of our lives, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it, SJ. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad to have been a part of this conversation and be able to meet you. I look forward to thank you. I look forward to maybe one day attending a con when I can see all of my guests in real person and meet you. Maybe I need to come on down to the Bahamas and join your monthly. I don't know if I can fly down there right yet, but I can go down there and maybe come join your local.
Yeah, the cases are kind of climbing down here as well.
Yep.
So, you know, hopefully 2021.
Good. Well, I look forward to 2021. I look forward to seeing what you do next. We will definitely keep in touch, and we'll make sure that the world gets to meet SJ Slays Cosplay and get you out there and get you seen. So to everybody else out there, this has been another episode of the Creative Cosplay Corner. I'm Cable Rose. This was SJ from the Bahamas. Say bye.
There you go. That's
all right.
Bye.
Yep. And then guess what, everybody? We'll catch you guys on the flip side.